Yo, think about this for a second. How we interact with each other has definitely changed. We don't convene in SAC anymore, but the campus vibes are very much alive. The Publications Committee proudly brings you Campus Beats, where we keep you informed on the latest activities, bring you helpful tips from your trusted guild counselors, and most of all, we want to hear from you. So, run tell all your friends. So log on, sit back, relax, and enjoy our program every Thursday at 7 p.m. for the latest news and to help you virtually navigate around campus. See you then.
So good night, everyone. Welcome to Campus Beats. I am Kendall Vincent, Guild Publications Committee Chairperson, and with me today, guys, it's none other than our other host, Vincent. Good night.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 4th episode. We're excited to have you here, and we can't wait to see what's in store today.
Great. And as you know, guys, we are we're still in the midst of COVID, so it's still virtual, we're still online, and Campus Beats is really that series that really brings you all the happenings on campus. And I know that unfortunately we do not have our other co-hosts here tonight. It's midterm season, so we really just wish our co-hosts all the best, and all the students of the university all the best in this midterm season. So without further ado, you all know the drill. We're gonna head right into our first segment, which is the What's On segment, and that will be brought to you by Vernon Davis, our GGI Hall Chair.
All right, so what's on this week? First of all, there's a reminder that the UWI Guild of Students General Election Day is fastly approaching. It's Thursday, March 4th, 2021. And stay tuned to all of the social media pages, Instagram at OneGuildSTA and Facebook at the UWI St. Augustine Guild of Students for updates. Election time is going to be 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Secondly, UWI Stat, which is UWI Students Today, Alumni Tomorrow, will be hosting a Caribbean Youth Forum entitled A Cry for the Future via Zoom. It will be a panel discussion on the impacts of crime and violence on the youth and solutions to the issues. This will be held on Saturday, February 27th, which is this Saturday, and you can direct message on Instagram for the Zoom link at UWI STA. And it will be streamed on the UWI Guild of Students Facebook page. For more information on the panelists, check out their Instagram, which I repeat is UWI STA. And then lastly, on What's On, the UWI Law Society will be hosting an election forum for the Law Society elections of 2021. And this will be taking place on March 2nd from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. I repeat, March 2nd from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. The venue and platform is to be announced, but please stay tuned to their Instagram page, which is UWI_STA_Law Society, and be prepared to walk with your questions and meet the candidates and hear their ideas. So that's all for What's On today. Back to you, Kendall.
Great, guys. And with us, as is usual, tonight we have our FSS rep, Faculty of Social Sciences rep, Ms. Kira Alexander, who is our guest host this week. Kira, welcome to Campus Beats.
Good night. I'm so happy to be here. This initiative, it spruces up our little campus life because we know it's all virtual right now. That kind of have us a little sad, but this initiative gets us to interact with each other, let us know what's going on the campus, let us see our counselors. A lot of persons might be seeing this cute face for the first time, we might be seeing our JGI Hall Chair for the first time, so it's really, really a great experience, to be in this initiative this evening.
Great, thank you, Kira. And we're going to jump into our first segment, which is basically a club feature. And tonight we are going to feature because we're featuring all about our clubs and stuff on campus. And tonight's feature we have representatives from the UWI Indian Cultural Society, because UWI is a very diverse campus. We have different religious clubs. Last week, for those of you who have tuned in, we would have had IVCF, and now this week we're featuring our UWI Indian Cultural Society Club. And with us today is Mr. AJ Kamal, who is the PRO of the UWI Indian Cultural Society. And we also have Miss Vandana Ramdat, who is the president. So good night, guys. Welcome to Campus Beats.
Good night. Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
having us. It's our pleasure.
Great. And we're just here, we're just chilling. So it's quite a normal vibe, guys. And for those of you all who are tuning in, please feel free to share, invite your friends, and like the page, share, and get the word out. So firstly, and this is really a joint interview, so you would have both Vincent and Kira posing questions as necessary. So first, foremost, tell us a little bit about the UWI Indian Cultural Society.
Okay, so the UWI Indian Cultural Society really started off as a platform to showcase Indian culture. So a lot of people think it's religious based, but it's actually not. We welcome all religion. It's just that we promote Indian culture itself, right? It's a platform where students can share their love for Bollywood or the arts of Indian culture, anything towards Indian culture, we welcome. And also, by extension, those on the outside can be part of it as well. But our main focus is keeping students in the loop. And apart from being Indian Cultural Society, we are also students. So if students have some sort of discomfort, we are here for them. We are basically here for the students in any way or any matter.
Mhm.
That sounds very exciting. I have a question. So for me as a regional student, what are some things that I can look forward to from your club?
Well,
Oh,
over,
wanna go ahead.
go- yeah. Over the past while since COVID happened, everything became virtual. So we really leaned on our social media to bring in regional students, everyone to our club. So, well, you can look forward to many things because you have lots of challenges and initiatives, fun initiatives that make you aware of Indian culture, things you didn't know, people you didn't know about. So it's very informative, you know. Yeah.
Well, I must say that I would have attended one of the events you all had in JFK Auditorium, I believe. Right now the title of the event is slipping me. But y'all, when I tell you this event was so much fun, it was the event with the sticks, the tapping of the
Oh,
stick.
Garba.
Garba.
Right. Y'all, like, I miss being on campus because after I went that event, I was ready to go the next week because I was like, but wait, this club have real fun. So, like, I appreciate the culture. I appreciate that y'all are retaining it and also sharing it with us because sometimes we kind of get lost with the modernized culture. And that event was so much fun. So the Indian society has a lot to offer.
Well, into regards to what you said, well, that's also the contribution of the Hindu Society as well. That's their annual Garba initiative. So we also collaborate with other clubs as well. So as the Hindu Society, we collaborate with them for our virtual Diwali, and it was so sad not to have the Garba. It was dearly missed, and we also partner with the
Definitely.
Tourism
Mhm.
Society as well and the NACC. So we partner with a lot of clubs to bring a form of unity and to extend our club in a wider range. Anybody can be part, and we are very much welcome.
Great. And my question goes to EG. I know you all would have mentioned that we need digital space. So let the students of the university know where we can find you all online, give us these handles, where can we find you on social media?
Well, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook at UE Indian Cultural. You can always look out for our stuff. We're always posting new, fun, entertaining information.
Also, we have recipes. We also
Yes,
include food. So,
yeah.
not
Nice.
only Indian food, we had an initiative where Christmas delicacy
Mm-hmm.
recipes, and we partner with Trini Cooking with Natasha and Reshmi as well.
Yeah. Some
So,
taste
we
of
are
Trinity.
very much diverse. So, be sure to check that out.
Yeah.
Really, really loving that diversity, Vinan.
So it sounds like I need to bring you all to hall so we could do some collaborations as well. Um, I,
That's
I heard
not a
that you mentioned
problem.
I heard that you mentioned TikTok. What kind of collaborations or what kind of events you do on TikTok, or what do you use TikTok for? Because I know it's one of the more popular mediums of today. So what can we find out on your social media pages as well?
Well, actually, we started our TikTok account at the beginning of COVID because everybody recently downloaded it and to keep yourself entertained. So we had a challenge, basically like the dress up one where you go from regular clothes to Indian clothes, right? And we made it into a little competition, and we did it really well in terms of the participation and the the interaction. So we have a lot of stuff like that posted, and it our following and it has grown on TikTok, and we will continue to post stuff like that to make everyone aware and comfortable with their Indian culture.
Yes, I must say I remember that
Great.
TikTok
So, guys,
challenge. It was
anything? Mhm.
no, Kendall. I was
So,
just
guys,
saying I
anything
remember
that
the
you all
TikTok
want
challenge.
to Oh, so guys, I want to thank you on behalf of the UWI Guild of Students and by extension, the publications team for being here and being here. Of course, the platform is always available to you guys. It's all about the students. So if you all have anything that you all want to promote, if you want to come back on and share with us, feel free to reach out to us as much as possible. My last question to you, though, is that we know that navigating this digital space is not necessarily the most easy. I mean, none of us could have predicted COVID. What would you would say? What were some of the challenges and that you would have faced, over the past academic year, and how have you used that challenge or overcome it in terms of, as a club navigating this whole new digital space?
Okay, so
I can hear
I will speak from
from.
my experience
Mhm.
and I would hand over to Ajay afterwards. So I think, as the president of the club, what was a challenge is to keep my members together. We're not meeting physically, so I would try to often, have meetings because, to keep their experience, memorable as well. You're serving for executive, you want to have the best time as possible. So I try to have as much meetings and check in with them and keep them together because a good executive team means a good club and everything runs smoothly. And another challenge was, I think, with virtual uh, social media is content. So always having positive and good content to have your followers to keep going. So that was a challenge to always have something for the students to keep them wanting more from us.
Yeah,
Ajay?
definitely. Yeah, definitely maintaining a social media presence because you want everyone to be aware of the club, but you want to also stay trending. So, like with the TikTok, then we had a local makeup artist do things just to stay in line with things people following right now. That's it. It's just really maintaining your presence, letting everyone know that the club is still there, despite you not being face to face and you not being able to see your members. Once they know the club is very active and we have things going and we're not just gone,
Yeah, and I think
basically.
to be fun and interactive as well and informative. So we were like a mixture of all. We were informative as to what is Indian culture, how we derive from, and stuff like that. And as well as, having fun giveaways and interactions. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So great. So let me say thank you guys for being with us. Of course, it was
Thank
our
you so much
pleasure
for
having
having
you
us.
here
Thank you. Yes.
and learning more about the whole UE Indian cultural society. So we see you. We see the good work that you all are doing. We know that there are challenges because we're in the COVID season. But what I can say is that I'm really proud that you all have been resilient and you all keep pressing and keep pushing forward for that student engagement. Finan, Kira.
Kira, I'll let Kira go first.
Thank you, Vernon. I just want to say thank you for coming and sharing with us. You all are one of the most vibrant clubs on campus, in my opinion, and it's just nice to see that you all kept that going, even though through COVID. Because I was trying to say that I would have saw the TikTok challenge. It was very, very beautiful. I would have seen those ladies dressed up and give us looks. I'm not sure if you had any males, but it was really nice to see, the culture still being shared, still being perpetuated, even though we are in this virtual space. So thank you guys for coming tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. As a regional student, I truly can appreciate what you bring, what you offer, because for me this would be a completely new experience. So I feel a bit robbed that we're not on physical campus, but I definitely will be following your Instagram pages and all the work that you do in hopes that once we return back to campus, I'll definitely be there. So look out for me at your next events because I feel like I'm missing out and I definitely don't want that to continue. So thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you guys. So, guys, as you know, it's Tuesday, and Tuesday is quite synonymous with what we know as Throwback Tuesday. And we know that, we have a special, because every week we try to introduce something new and dynamic. And today we are going to try. Actually, no one knows actually where this throwback was coming from. I kind of kept it as a little surprise. So, guys, I'm going to take you back to an event that would have been hosted by our previous Skill Council, of which Kira was a part of. And I'm not going to introduce the event. We're going to play the event and then we'll come back and, see.
Are you ready to find out who's the winner? Who is the champion? And the winner of the first ever UE Got Talent, winning the $10,000 cash prize, courtesy the University of the West Indies Guild of Students.
Great, and that was such a throwback. So maybe Kira could tell us a little bit about that event and being part of that council.
So that was our first annual UWI's Got Talent, and it was honestly a wonderful experience, allowing persons to know that yes, we come to UE because we love academics, but a lot of us have a holistic experience while we're at the university. Some of us are in dance, some of us sing, some of us can draw, some of us do spoken word. So it was really nice and play instruments because the person who won, of course, is Mr. Emmanuel Joseph, a panist. And it was really nice seeing all that talent in one room. Some of us got to take a little sneak peek at the not the rehearsals, the auditions, and it was really, really nice to see that so many UE students have all this talent that, that's be hiding away in stack. So it was really a great experience.
Great. Vinan, any thoughts?
Wow, I looked at that just now and I was like, the quality and the production level that UE can produce, it shows like we have so much talent and so much wealth of knowledge within just our campus in itself, because that looked like something that can be placed on any TV, any network, anywhere worldwide and stand up with quality. So I'm pretty impressed and I feel like I'm missing out again. So hopefully soon we can have that as well. I don't have any real talents. I don't think y'all want me to sing, but I would definitely want to help. Yeah.
Great, guys. And for those of you all who are tuning in, this is Campus Beats episode 4. And we have, as per usual, every week moving right into the next segment, we, bring on our counselors, or we shine the spotlight on our counselors. And today, in keeping with the fact that our faculty of social sciences rep is here with us, our faculty reps is extremely hardworking. I mean, you all don't know COVID, the amount of behind the scenes, having to respond to sometime, a lot of emails, a lot of queries, a lot of issues. And, Kira would know the fact that she's coming. Tell us, Kira, before we bring on our special, as a matter of fact, I'm going to give you the honor to introduce our next, or someone from your cohort or your grouping, our faculty rep. I would now hand it over to you to kind of guide us through this next segment, our Guild one-on-one segment.
So as Mr. Vincent would have, mentioned, faculty reps basically, we are here for you to hear all your problems, your suggestions, and we know that in this virtual space we would have encountered a few problems. So now I would like to bring on the engineering faculty rep so that he could just tell us about his experience being the faculty rep, and especially how was it in a virtual space. So here we have Mr. Johnson Gardner.
Good night, guys. Thank you again for having me. It's an honor to be selected to be here at Campus Beats. With regards to my experience as a faculty rep during especially an online semester or year, as it appears, it's been a challenging one, but it's been very informative. I feel like I've been able to learn a lot, not just representing students and dealing with problems academically, but also running the Engineering Student Society with the help of my brilliant, talented committee. I feel like I've had a good experience this year. Despite the work, despite the stress, I think it's been an enlightening experience for me.
That is really good to hear, because I know sometimes it can get stressful. My society people, wow, they love me a lot. And sometimes it's like, woof, I have a lot of emails to respond to. So how do you balance your schoolwork, that heavy workload, and responding to students, keeping them in the know with what's going on, keeping them up to date with probably some queries they would have? How do you balance all of that with your workload?
Right. So for me, throughout my life, balance has always been like a fundamental concept. So even before UE, through secondary school, through primary school, I've not just been a student, but I've played multiple sports through my life. I've played multiple instruments through my life. So trying to maintain a balanced lifestyle is something that I've had practice with before I got here. But with respect to one thing at UE that opened my eyes, especially as far as balancing your work-life balance, in a sense, although that was very redundant. But yeah, one of the things that I would have been told as soon as I got there in my first year by one of my friends from Hall is there's no such thing as time management. It's about self-management. That philosophy is kind of just, we all have the same 24 hours, and whatever you're able to achieve is more so about planning and dedication than it is about the amount of time in a day, because everybody at some point will feel swamped. Everybody at some point will have too many assignments to do in a week, or for us, way too many emails to answer in a day. But I feel like one of the things is just always make sure you plan out your next day the day before. Always make sure you allow time for yourself to rest in between, even if it's just 5 minutes, and then be dedicated to what you're doing. Don't put half your effort into something, because then it takes longer. So those would be how I maintain my balance.
Yes, that is some very good tips because I and all sometimes need to remember, you know, balance yourself. Don't just balance the time because sometimes time can slip us. But we have to tell ourselves, okay, today I'm going to get this done, and some things we could leave for tomorrow. But also, would you say that your experience is one that is so hmm, what's the proper word? But so resonating with you that you would recommend other persons to join the guild or be involved in club work, committee work?
100%, 100%. I feel like there's no real substitute to being. For me, I'll speak about the Guild of Students. There was no substitute I found that I could have had prior to this that would have taught me as much as I feel like being on the guild would have taught me, or being in a club would have taught me, because I've learned not just a lot about representation. It teaches you more so, even more so, how to interact with people in a way that even your student teachers, your student teacher interactions don't teach you how to interact within a hierarchy, as well as being on the guild and still having to interact with like the management team at UE, etc. I feel like, well, we appear to have lost Kira, but anyway, um, I feel like being on the guild, from how much you can learn from it and how much you can develop as a person, is an experience I would recommend to everyone, to be quite honest.
Most definitely. I must say, as a faculty representative, you get to engage with the student population. You get to see that, there are so many programs in your faculty that you may not have known about, right? Especially social sciences is so large. It's like, wait, all of these falling under this one faculty. So I would always recommend that students get involved, get to know who their lecturers are, who their office staff are, because those are the persons that help us out when we need some little assistance in the faculty. So, Jonathan, I thank you, I thank you, I thank you for giving us some insight into your year as faculty representative of engineering and the president of the Engineering Society. Thank you.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me as well. It felt like it was a good time to be here on Campus Beats today. I think I will turn back over to you, Arcandle.
So thank you, Kira, and thank you, Jonathan, for being with us, and this space. So I know Kira has to like run off a bit. So thank you, Kira, for being with us. Jonathan, you feel free to hold a vibe and chill and sit with us for a bit. Because guys, we this is all about campus beats, and I know that we're all about ensuring that you not only just know about your counselors, because I know Vinan is coming back on now. Vinan. So Kira,
Yeah.
thank you very much, and do enjoy the rest of your night, Kira. So guys, as per usual, you know how things go. We are here again. So Jonathan, one question though. What would you say is your, most memorable experience being part of this whole, COVID-19 guild?
My most memorable experience being part of the COVID-19 Guild Council. Well, there are a few, both in the guild as a subset of the guild. We would have had our various meetings. I feel like one of the things I like is meeting new people. I believe it brings opportunities not just for networking, but for genuine companionship and that kind of thing. So I feel like some, ironically enough, some of our meetings that were, less, I don't want to say less serious, because all of the guild meetings have a serious component. However, some of the meetings where you would have just had a chance to discuss with your fellow counselors about the kind of things both yourself and them are going throughout this experience as we try to navigate an online space. That has been memorable for me. I also feel like, as a subset of the guild now, working with the Engineering Student Society, planning various events. We would have had our mental health forums last year. We would have had the Civil Engineering Career Showcase, and even planning more events for this semester, it really gives me an opportunity to kind of share and treat to some of the needs that my student base would have had. And that I feel after this year is said and done will be my most memorable or most prideful achievement in a sense. I think that's been my favorite part of this tenure, despite being online.
I have a question for Jonathan. What advice would you give to the incoming class of Guild Council, having experienced both, I guess, a portion of the physical guild and then being online?
My advice to the incumbent council would just be determined, because everybody, especially now I can speak from a perspective of as an international student, right? A lot of the problems we have in an online space, you kind of think, well, yeah, but when you use physical, those problems will kind of go away. Similarly, when we were in the physical space, if all of us were asked about a year and a half ago if, yeah, we can make lectures online, you don't have to get up from hall and go to, walk through UE, go to a class, in a room, we would have probably said yes. So my thing is just every experience is going to come with different challenges, different trials. So I feel like my advice to them would just be to be determined in your work, be determined in your running of the guild, be determined throughout your life, and things are going to work out just fine for you.
Oh, that's some good advice.
Thanks.
You seem to have some wisdom for your age, which is pretty impressive.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
So next question, what's next for you after having served in the capacity that you're in now? What's next?
Well, I think in terms of being part of the, I guess, main council of the guild, I don't think that's in store for me next year. However, in terms of subcommittees, so falling under somebody's office in terms of like an IACC's office or that kind of thing, I think I would definitely like to still be a part of student representation, even if not in a main role, especially next year going into what should be my final year. I think my focus needs to be just a bit more on the academics and a bit less on the representation side. However, I still think that needs to be a part of my university experience. So that would be me next year.
I agree. I feel like once you serve,
See, interesting. You guys are really.
Go ahead.
It's interesting, guys, that you all are. It's interesting that you all are really enjoying getting into your or the retirement lunch per se. I know Vernon is also pretty excited about the prospects of not having to do all these 6-hour meetings and all these different things. I guess we will see how next week goes. I may be joining you all as well. So Jonathan, we have quick into our next segment. But before we move into our next segment, we just have a short entertainment video, of course, for you all, and then we'll jump into our next segment. So taking, as per usual, our resident, entertainer, Joshua, and we're gonna give you a little bit of, Dexter Daps on the pan.
Good production. Good production.
So guys, it seems like we're having a bit of technical difficulties with the video.
Good production. Good Production.
So guys, welcome, welcome. I hope that you all are, all tuned in to, Campus Beats. So I'm going to invite you to continue to like, continue to share, continue to, get the word. And we have so much in store for you. Right now, we're going to jump into our next interview. And, this is Dunan's, favorites, because I think he does this every week. We're moving right along into our alumni feature, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to she has served in the capacity of the Milner Hall of Freedom Hall chair, Miss Chantel Kalinda, and she has, a very, very diverse, she wear different hats, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Chantel here, and of course, myself and Jonathan will be backstage, tuning in, and we will join you back soon. So welcome, Chantel, to Campus Beats.
Hi everyone, good night. Thanks for having me.
Good night. How are you?
I'm really great. I'm really happy to be here and see some UE faces. It may not be familiar, but I think UE brings us closer together.
I know, right? It's definitely an honor to have you. So let's first start with the first question. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, okay, well, I served as the Freedom Hall Chair on the UE Guild Council in 2018, 2019. Doesn't seem so far away. I graduated with a BSc in Management Studies. So go SOSI, best faculty in campus, hands down. And I'm currently doing a Master's of Science in Management Studies, and I specialize in marketing at the UE. So that is great. Currently finishing up that, and I am working towards being a business developer and consultant. And I currently have that business and another business in agro processing. So I kind of say I do wear many hats, and I think my management background is a major key to that.
All right, so that's quite a lot. Tell us a little bit about your experience at UE. What was it like when you went to UE?
Oh wow, UE life was very interesting for me. I think being on hall, I automatically gained a whole another family, a whole new group of friends, especially with classes. As a fresher, you're getting lost at your classes. You don't know where SSS 101 East is. You don't know East from West. You can't find, certain places. So my whole family took me under their wing and showed us around campus. And anytime you see another Millerites on campus, you automatically know you have a friend right there. So I think that made my transition way easier. Whole life made it way easier for me. And yeah, like transitioning from secondary school to UE was, I think, a bit challenging. Like Cape does not prepare you for living on your own. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. From waking up every day, you have your parents waking you up, get ready, go to school. You're missing classes because you can't wake up on time. And then I think every fresher has this mindset that I did 8 o'clock classes in school, so I could do 8 o'clock classes at
Easy.
UE, and
Ew.
that that did not work well. So
Definitely.
my first year timetable was a mess, an absolute mess.
Yeah, it is pretty difficult to adjust to getting into that university lifestyle, especially with UE. When you're on your own, you have to figure things out yourself. You don't have anyone to kind of guide you. It's just all you, complete adulting from that point on. So yeah, I definitely can relate. And I see that you mentioned Hall. I'm from JGI Hall, so I'm a little bit biased, but I know the value of Hall life and how much it means to be able to meet people from all around the world, even sometimes people who you never expected to meet, and they become lifelong friends. So I definitely see the value in that. So, quick
Yeah.
question: what was your experience like being Hall chair?
Huh. Well, first of all, I was essentially the first official Freedom Hall chair because our name was Milner Hall, and then
Hmm.
they changed it to Freedom Hall. So I was the first official hall chair. So I think in terms of that in itself was challenging with my Milnerize, as you know, you're searching for, I guess, a new identity and how are we going to
Yeah.
move, how are your apparel going to look. So that in itself, campus calling you like, should we call you Milner? Should we call you Freedom? I had to deal with that every day.
Oh wow.
Every day. Yeah, so that was challenging. But I think being on here was a pleasure. I loved being with my Millerites, helping them. We have, whole life, we have a lot of events. So that in itself bring people together, get them out their rooms, get them talking, get them
Hmm.
linking up with other people. So I think being one of the facilitators of that was really good for me, especially as I was doing my master. I started my master's while I was hall chair.
Oh.
So, master students, they tend to be off by themselves.
Hmm.
And, you have evening classes, so you wouldn't see a master student, you'll just see them passing in the night. So that in itself took me out and make sure I came out and see people and get pressures out. And, I think it kept me grounded.
Okay, that sounds good. And what was your experience like being on the guild then?
The guild. I would say it was really interesting. I didn't expect this whole guild thing, like coming together and planning all these events and, looking at the campus body at large. When I ran, our hall elections are separate from guild elections.
Yeah.
So I ran with the intention of, serving my people, having the best interest for my whole peeps and my Milnerites and whatnot.
Hmm.
So that was my mindset had to expand as soon as you got in office because it's not just about the people that you serve, but it's the campus body at large. So
Population, yeah.
that made me think on a whole macro perspective when it came to the position and what you have to do. Because I found myself getting into work with the IC and the NEC and helping PRO and PCC. So I was like, I totally didn't sign up for all of this. But but because you have that passion to serve, and as a guild counselor, you are serving your student population. So it really did take me out of that comfort zone.
Trust me, I can completely relate because when I ran, it was just JGI Hall, which seems to be like a very intimate, a very select group that's kind of away. So when I started to get immersed in the full guild, where it's like, okay, now it's all issues from everywhere. Like you start to see emails go from 10 to like 300, and there's these events, and we have this emergency meeting. That was completely an adjustment, like you said, and I agree that but I appreciated it because it made me feel like I was a part of UE. Like I got the entire experience, the entire UE, learn about like all aspects of UE from the religious organizations to now even being on campus beats because me and my little hall on JGI, I would have never been even exposed to PCC and the different branches of the guild and the different organizations and even trying to make sure that students' voices are heard on a larger level. That was completely a surprise to me as well. Yeah, so I appreciated that. What would you say would be one of your fondest moments in UE in general?
Ooh, my fondest moment. I think Guildfest, like the beginning of the school year, is I think is the best for me. That
Mhm.
and when we come, I think every time we come back to school is always great. So when we come on the first semester, it's Guildfest and it's the freshers, and you see these big bright eyes, and I mean, there's want to call them is not all that, but you don't
They're
want
all
to, let
excited.
them lose their for sure. I think that that is one of the best times for me when I get to meet freshers and they coming in and want to know what is this place and why people taking it so seriously. Why you wearing apparel on certain days? Like you hearing chanting. What is all of this going on? When you have
Mhm.
hall spirit, and I think that's when people get the essence of hall culture and its importance to UE life and whatnot. And the next event I think is when we come back out in second semester when we have pump your flag and the IAC events. That's when your regional students get to thrive and you get to experience different cultures and meet new people. So I
Mhm.
think those two really are the best times for me. I think a lot of people enjoy those events. So I absolutely love those.
All right, that sounds good. You took me back just a bit when you mentioned those. It's like, oh,
I know
so
I will miss pump your flag. I will
oh
absolutely
yeah,
miss pump your flag.
I agree. Yeah, that was epic for me, and that was like one of my greatest memories. So I definitely can relate to that. Um, I know you're a master's student now, but if reflecting back on your earlier years in UE, what was one thing that you think that you could would have done differently?
Um, I think that's a good question. I think in general, I would plan more classes with people that I know and get better group projects, group members in my project. Because like my first 2 years, having to get to know campus, my degree, and myself, I changed my degree actually in my first year.
Okay.
So yeah, I was doing leadership and management, which was more on the political side, the government side, and I realized it wasn't for me. So I think I would have made that decision probably a bit faster and kind of transition myself out of that. Um, I wish I knew what I wanted to do before I actually came into uni. So I would have probably cut a year, but I think in itself, all experiences, whether bad, good, a bit indifferent, always teaches you something to grow and develop yourself. Yeah. So I wouldn't have any regret. I probably just miss my UE life a lot more, and my whole life a lot more.
Renan, I think even in there,
I think
I think
he
we're having
just
some technical difficulties.
yeah,
Vinan,
I'm sure he'll be on in a minute.
Vinan, you there? Okay, so picking right up from where Vinan would have probably left, what would you say? I know that we are in the mid, so we're heading into that season. And what would you say is your advice to persons, who are like engaging in the process, and for those who are interested in, like, what would be your advice?
I think that when we're running, we have so much elaborate plans. I think I would tell people to just be realistic with yourself. And I'm not saying, don't have all these accomplishments that you want to pursue, but also realize the time frame in which you have to serve. And also, when you come into the office, you're going to meet problems. Students always have issues with certain things, and your time takes up you take up a lot of time dealing with these issues. So having trying to reinvent the wheel and implementing 10 million things isn't really going to come to pass when you have to deal with present issues and issues that are happening now. So I think being realistic with yourself and what you can accomplish is one of the major things. And don't be afraid to ask for help because your counselors are always on your side. Your counselors are more than willing to help. I think sometimes we tend to bite off a lot than we can chew, and that gets us in a lot of problems. And yeah, that's two major things.
All right. I know you mentioned that you recently started your master's. What was it like what made you decide to continue with UE for your master's? And what has that transition been like?
Okay, wow. Honestly, I was trying to figure myself out at that point in time in my life. I didn't, I was just finishing up my bachelor's and I was wondering, what am I going to do next? How am I going to, find a job, or am I ready to find a job? I was asking all these questions, and I really wasn't ready to step out into that world of work, especially where people aren't really hiring right now, and a lot of people are spending a year unemployed and whatnot. So I
It's true.
thought to myself that, maybe advancing my education is something that I personally can control. So why not do that and, look for jobs, or, find myself and see what it is that I feel passionate about in doing.
Okay. That's good. And so what's it like now? How is your program being for you? Transitioning now to a whole nother level where it's like even harder.
It was a bit of a culture shock. Uh, with your masters, you have less programs, but with these less programs, you tend to think that, okay, less programs means it's a little lighter, a little bit easier. It's definitely not. Like, the workload is intense.
Yes.
The workload is intense, and they require a higher level or a higher standard from what you will currently bring. And I think that got me really flustered and frustrated because when I started my program, I started late, as UV didn't give me my acceptance letter until I was probably 2 to 3 weeks into the program. Then I started classes.
Oh wow.
So when I started to go to classes, the lecturers were like, who are you? We already started. We're almost halfway through. People already delegated our group members to certain things. They're halfway through this. Yeah, it was really hard. Like my first semester, I had to spend a lot of all-nighters trying to catch up and like give people help in these group assignments so you wouldn't feel like you're slacking off and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that was a big thing for me.
Oh wow. That does sound like a lot. So what were the things that helped you to get through, I guess, going through your masters with feeling behind? What were some of the things that you relied on?
Uh, well, I was hall chair at that time while doing my master's and trying to figure that out. And I think my hall committee, my close friends, as well as my guild counselors, who became my family at that time, really helped me out because our personal hall calendar, we have set events and they have to be done within that certain time frame. So while I was doing work one way, I was getting help planning certain events in the next way. And our counselors, we used to have all-nighters like a couple of days of the week, just doing assignments and getting stuff done. So I think that push really helped me. So when you feel like you're slacking up, you have somebody telling you, hey, it's time to get up, come and get your work done. So
Yeah.
that was really helpful.
Oh wow. So I'm glad that you had that support network there to be able to help you because I know
Yeah.
a master's program is not easy and UE definitely doesn't even make it any easier at all. So I'm glad that you had that support network there.
Thank you so much.
So in closing, what advice would you give to UE students?
I think to just enjoy the process. Like it, you get caught up so much times. You get caught up with I need to get these grades, and I can miss ER hold, and I think like for me, I sort of miss the I wouldn't have missed the complaining, but I just miss the feel and energy of campus. You know, I was talking to some friends that lived on hall, and we was like all the complaining we used to do. I miss the complaining because it felt like you had people to be around and complain to and talk to and vent your frustrations, and that could actually get it. So I think that enjoying the process of your UE life, a lot of people just want to get a degree and leave, but you tend to miss what is happening around you, all the events, the scenery, just the calming nature of things. Like you end up missing it. Like I miss Saturday Thursdays where everybody just used to be around, but buzzing and people playing also. It's like they used to be annoying because you're hearing them loud in your classes when you do tutorials. But you just miss that energy and vibe around campus.
All right. I definitely agree. Like the college experience is something that you can't get back. So if it's something that you can do and try to take advantage of every opportunity, like go to events that you don't even know anything about, but just experience it, expand your knowledge and your horizon, because you never know. Some things that I did in my undergrad and end up being benefit to me in my future career. So you never know how something you may think may be completely random or unrelated may help you in the future. So I definitely do agree with you. All right. So in closing, how can we get in contact with you? How can we find out what's happening with you? Because you're going to be some big business developer in the future. We need to know how we can stay in contact with you, because I truly believe in networking. So I'm going to speak it into existence now. So Canvas, how can we get with you?
Okay, well, you can search me on Facebook. My name is right there, as well as on Instagram. It's Chantal_Cali. So it's CHANTAL underscore CALLE. So it's the first 5 letters of my surname. So Chantal underscore and the first 5 letters of my surname. And that's how you find me on Instagram. And well, Facebook is my full name. And yeah, we can connect definitely about networking and helping my small and medium business owners just getting their brand and themselves out there. So definitely.
Well, it was truly a pleasure to have you in my living room today, to be able to chat. That's one of the benefits of having, I guess, virtual experiences, is that we can be able to connect with people around the world. So I definitely do appreciate you being here, and we look forward to great, great things from you. So guys, when you see that name again, make sure you recognize that, because you're going to say, hey, she was on Campus Beats and I knew she was going to be great. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for being with us this evening. And we hope you continue to be safe, and we look forward to great things from you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
So
you.
all the best, Chantal. Thank you very much for being with us. Do enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
So guys, we are University of the West Indies, and we're gonna take things up a notch. And every week we take you to different islands. This week we are taking you to 2 islands actually. Our first, we also have a very special guest today, all the way from the Mona campus. And I'm now going to, introduce you to, because we are the University of the West Indies, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce our special guest host for today, coming all the way from UWI Mona, Mr. Deverin Rowe. Deverin?
You can.
Deverin, you there, right?
Yeah, hearing me?
Yeah, we're getting a little static though. You good? Guys, as you know, in real life, we always have these, technical difficulties. But Devin will be with us soon. But I'm going to allow Jonathan, actually, our faculty rep, to introduce our next segment and our feature. After all, he from the very, beautiful island of, Jonathan, take it away.
All right, will do, will do. So next, guys, on Campus Beats, we have a representative, and not just a representative, but the president of the BASAT Association, which is basically, well, I'll let him dive into it more, but it's the Barbadian Students Association for Trinidad and Tobago. Um, I know him personally, and I'm familiar with some of the work he would have been doing with Basa. So I know he's a very dedicated young man. But in order to not waste too much time and without any further ado, I welcome Kyle Nero, Basa President, to Campus Beats.
But just before Kyle comes on, guys, so we want to give you, we here in Trinidad. Well, we in different, not, but I'm here in Trinidad. Jonathan is in Barbados, Winan is in Bahamas, and of course, Darren will be back with us shortly, and he's from Jamaica. We just gonna give you a short snippet of the beautiful island of Barbados before we bring on Kyle and Bassat.
We may be a little island, but we've got big heart. Things are a little quiet now, but we've got big hopes. It may take a while until we see you again, but we've got big plans. So as you dream of brighter days, just remember, Barbados will be here, from Bridgetown to Oistins Bay, inside and out, through and through. We may be a little island, but we're bigger and stronger with you. So take care, stay safe, and stay joyful. The time will come when we say, welcome, Barbados Nice.
Great. So, Jonathan?
Right. So I guess the first kind of question everybody would be expecting for us to elaborate upon and begin is, what is Basa?
Yes. Hi, good night, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Kyle Nero, and to speak on what BASA is, what the Barbados Students Association of Trinidad and Tobago really is a subcommittee of the ISC, the International Affairs Committee, comprising of Barbadian students studying in Trinidad and Tobago. So we're really and truly a big family of Barbadians, or Bajans as some of us will call us, here to support each other and look out for each other while studying abroad.
All right.
So great.
Go ahead, Kendall.
So tell us a bit about, I know that, Bassat would be, unfortunately, we're not on campus, so we don't have the whole TCUE experience. What I would like to find out though is that, how has it been in terms of, navigating Bassat and you really taking the helm of Bassat, which is one of our very vibrant, island associations. So how has been that transition and what have you all been up to in the whole COVID space?
Well, the transition has been difficult in the beginning, but I guess as we go forward now, it's becoming smoother. We have been mainly working on issues in pertaining to our own government, right? So assisting our students in communicating with our government on a certain amount of matters. But other than that, we've been collaborating with the ISC to do a few events virtually on Instagram and sometimes Facebook. So as of now, it's just mainly looking out for each other, making sure everyone is informed well on how UE is working, what to look forward now, not only issues in UE, but issues in Barbados. And here and there, we're doing what we can to give everybody a sense of what BASA is.
All right. So what are some of the hallmark events or activities that BASA is known for?
Well, unlike other associations which have a dedicated week for them, my time in UE first year, I have not actually saw a BASA week. It's one thing I would have liked to make happen, but I haven't actually saw a BASA week. However, there's a few things that BASA has done that really and truly makes up for the fact that they don't have a specific week for themselves, right? So they start with what they would do is a food fest, right? At food fest, they would do a food sale. No, actually, apart from food fest, they do a separate food sale, right? Giving people a taste of what some Barbadian culture would be like. We have some macaroni and pie that people would cook for students to enjoy. And along with that food fest, right after, we then bring out one of our biggest events, which is a collaboration with the JASA, the Jamaicans Association Trinidad and Tobago. We have our party, Jam Bim, right? Which is basically to collab both of the cultures together and give you something amazing. All right, so that's one of the things that we would have been known for. That happens in first semester. And then after that, we do a few outings. All right, we had our 5 Islands trip, which we are also known for. Unfortunately, that can't happen this semester, but 5 Islands where we go to the amusement park in Trinidad and Tobago. And we also had a few outings where we would carry Barbadian students as well as any other association we would have collaborated with. We would carry them to various places around Trinidad and Tobago just to get a view of what the beautiful country of Trinidad and Tobago is like.
Great. So now I know that you would have mentioned, some of the staple events that we face, what you all normally are known for. Let us kind of deviate for a moment to talk about some of the challenges that regional students would have faced. I know that when COVID came, it would have just sprung upon us. So it means that, you all would have had undergo kind of just pack up and kind of leave. And I'm not sure if you still have Barbados. I'm not sure if you still have students on campus, because I know that there are still a few students who are still at home. So how has that been, experienced in terms of what are some of the issues that, because I think, one of the important things to note with Campus Beats, we're not just on a PR drive. It's not just about, to promote the guild. It's really about, it's supposed to reflect at its core the heart of what is happening with the students, bringing that to the spotlight. So you want to, put the disclaimer out there that it's not just, the whole PR. We have to be honest, we have to talk about the issues that students are facing and how have they been navigating. So could you just give us a synopsis as to how has that whole process, like what are some of the challenges, what was the positive outcomes, and what are some of the things that still need to be addressed?
Well, as of now, it has been almost a year since we had to pack up and leave Trinidad and Tobago. Sometime mid-March, you would have gotten a notice from whoever was staying in a hall or staying in Trinidad would have gotten a notice that the halls are, closing down. You might want to go back home. It's just advice. You might want to pack up and go back home. Majority of these students have taken that advice and left to go home with the idea of being able to come back, thinking that this may not have been permanent. It may have been just passing by, and then mid-April we've been back. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. So there has been a lot of students who have returned home without the majority of their luggage. So that's one of the main issues we're facing nowadays. Is like a lot of people left their important stuff in Trinidad and Tobago, and to get it back, is a challenge. So one of the things we've been working on is generating possible ideas, in order to get students back their luggage or their luggage back to them, preferably. So we've been trying to contact some of the hall administrations. We started with Canada to see if we could formalize some plan in order to get students back their items. Along with that, any other issues would have been related to tuition, because for Barbadian students, our government pays our tuition. And there's a program they put back in place, which is the Give Back program, where we have to give back our time in order to pay off the tuition that was spent on us. All right, so we've been trying to get some more information on that related to the students who would have been in Trinidad and Tobago, because it seems that the government hasn't been paying foreign students the attention they need. So, well, students who study abroad, not foreign students, the attention they need when it comes to this program. And we've been trying to really and truly get some information on how our students can be involved more in the program. Obviously, there is the case of COVID hindering most of the operations you have planned, but you still fight and see what can happen as the year goes by. You don't know how it would hold up as the months pass, and we try to fight and see if we can get some plans in place to make things better.
Okay, so you would have spoken a bit about Basa and what you've been doing. My question to you is, even if it's just a small sneak peek, are there any things you have in place currently that Barbadian students want or students UAY can look forward to from the Barbados Students Association of Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah, we're actually going to try to put some virtual events into place. One of them that we're definitely going to go forward with is Heroes Day for Barbados is going to be April the 28th, and we're gonna try to get some virtual stuff going on for Heroes Day for sure. We also wanted to look into the possibility of collaborating with another island association because you don't just want to know Barbadian culture. I guess every Barbadian student in Bassat would know Barbadian culture. You want to get to know someone else, right? So we're gonna look forward to seeing if we can get some collaborations with other island associations and get some interaction going on between associations. I guess that would be one of the major challenges when it comes to what the association stand for nowadays. So we're not able to bring the culture to you as we once were, where everybody will be on campus. We could go and do something Beijing and everybody will see it. There it's separated. The only time you will see a Barbadian is in class, and you wouldn't even know him like that, him or her like that. So, we're gonna try to get it out there and see if we can get some collaborations. If there is that, you get some Bajan culture in whatever other country and that country's culture in Barbados, and some Trinidadian students would, appreciate that.
I'm very happy to hear that because as an international student who would have been at UE through my first year, that inter-Caribbean, I guess, kind of cultural mixing that was going on campus, especially since it is mostly the international students that would have been on hall anyway, is definitely missing from this online version, if you want to call it that, of UE. So I'm happy to hear that you have plans to kind of bring that element of UE life back to this new setting. Vernon or Kendall, any other questions or comments?
I think for me, the main question, and this is something I'm going to pose to both, yourself, Kyle, and also Jonathan. What does being a Barbadian means to you? Jonathan first, and then we would go with our guest, Kyle.
Being a Barbadian, what does that mean to me? Okay. One of the things I would know about Barbados, I guess, from an internal standpoint, that a lot of, well, it's fairly well known now, but wouldn't have been as well known before, is that Barbadian culture is very, very different. I find a lot of the rest of the Caribbean has some sort of cultural mixing. So I find it's that identity of Barbadianness, whether it is you going out and if you watch, we party different. You might have some soca, we have some bashment soca, you might have some dance hall, some Trinidad, Barbados on the rise, that kind of thing. But I think that being Barbadian to me is more something very unique that is difficult to put into words in a sense. I think it's more you need to experience Barbadian culture. I don't think it's something you can really define well. And I guess you'll get a lot of people giving you that answer as well. So I don't want to sound too cliche, but I find a Caribbean culture for each respective island. I don't think it's something I really want to define. What I would say is that what you can get in parts of Barbadian culture, you cannot get anywhere else. So how I would respond to that question would be to encourage other, I guess, nationalities, other students, to keep an eye on organizations like BASA and experience Barbadian culture for yourself, and then you can see what it means to you instead of hearing what it means to me.
Yeah, I think that is really good of an explanation. But to me, one thing that I guess he would have left out is it's refreshing. Barbadian culture is refreshing. To me, it raises my mood. It puts me in a place of I feel comfortable, I guess. I don't know if that's just because it's home or I'm being biased or what, but it's something that it really is something that allows me to feel comfortable, and it brings humor to me as well, right? So it lightens my mood. It brings out all the positive emotions in me, is all I could say. But Barbadian culture, as Jonathan said, it's best to experience it, and I think that is one of the best things, especially seeing how people react to experiencing Barbadian culture. Sometimes when you're in your own space, you're in your own mind thought, and you speak Bajan basically in front of anybody else, and they wonder what, they think what. It just, it gives me something to laugh about each and every time, especially to notice how Bajan I am around other people.
Great. And last but not least, Kyle, on behalf of the Guild of Students and on behalf of the team at Campus Beats, I just really want to thank you for taking the opportunity. But before you go, we know that we're in the digital space and we want students to connect. So let us know all the social media handles, or how can students wanting to know more about Backside get in contact with you all?
Yeah, if you wanted to get into contact with me personally, my Instagram would be Domain Nero, DAMAYNE dot my last name NERO. For BASA, you have our Facebook BASA PRO, and then our Instagram would be BASA dot 246. So BASA full stop 246, and that's how you can get into contact with us. Feel free to reach out. We really enjoy helping people. It's no burden at all. So just reach out, and I'll try to help the best I can.
Great, guys. And I know that we're into the midterm season, and I'm just going to thank each and every one of you all, both Kyle and Jonathan, for being here with us. We are supposed to be heading into our next category, our next National Association Spotlight, pretty shortly. And we really want to thank you guys. So, guys, on behalf of the whole team, good night and all the best in the studies, Jonathan and Kyle. Good night, guys.
Thank you very much.
Good night. Thanks for having us.
Great. And I know that, we are moving from, as Nadia Batson would say, we're moving from one island to another island, guys. And, it gives me great pleasure, to introduce, or let me let you do it, Vinan. We're going to run a short promo video, and then we're going to be back with our next island association, the lovely St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Why go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines? Imagine it, thatched roof cottages rise over turquoise waters, the sweet scent of tropical flowers and rum punch fills the air, bronzed sun worshippers sprawl along isolated white sands, hemmed by shimmering waves, coral reefs and sleek yachts. The only thing luring you away from your beach towel is the intriguing network of secluded islands floating in the distance. Welcome to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you don't want to spend your days sunning along one picturesque isle, St. Lucia, or savoring conch with throngs of tourists on to St. Kitts and Nevis, then you should venture to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. With 32 remote islands and cays boasting emerald hills, postcard-worthy harbors, and boutique hotels, this Caribbean destination makes a perfect escape. Devote a few days to exploring St. Vincent, the biggest island of the chain, before sailing to Mustique, Canoan and Bequia, some of the Grenadines' finest and exclusive hideaways. However, exploring this quiet, less traveled tropical paradise requires many hours in transit. There's no direct flight from the US, and a thick wallet. Best things to do in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Days on St. Vincent and the Grenadines consist of lazing along white sand beaches, exploring coral reefs, and day tripping to the Grenadines' rural islands and cays. For sunny strips of blindingly white sand, head to Salt Whistle Bay or Macaroni Beach. Prefer to hit the links? Venture to Canoan's pristine championship course to putt on spectacular greens. And there's plenty to do on St. Vincent's main island. That's where you'll discover Kingstown's lively marketplace and the lush foliage on display at the centuries-old Botanic Gardens. What to eat in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. If you're staying at a luxury resort, you'll likely find little reason to dine off the property. But if you're craving a bit of local flavor, you'll find plenty of beach bars and casual outposts on many of the most visited islands. If you're visiting by cruise ship and only have limited time in Kingstown, visitors say you should make time for a meal or drinks at Flow Wine Bar and Kitchen.
So great, guys. You all would have had a little insight into, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we know time is of the essence. And I really, really want to welcome the lovely Jessica Prescott, president of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Student Association. So good night, Jessica, and welcome to Campus Suites.
Good night. Good night. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good night.
So
And
tell us a little.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Brennan, sorry.
So tell us a little bit about your association and also about your island and what it's like coming to Trinidad to study.
Well, I'm president of VINSA, that's the Vincentian Students Association. We are based in Trinidad. What we seek to do is to create a home away from home for our Vincentian students that attend the UE, St. Augustine. And, we have to adapt. So we're not in Trinidad right now, but we still seek to create a comfortable and embracing environment for new and incoming students.
All right.
What was the question?
And what was it like transitioning to Trinidad to study?
Well, that's an interesting story. Actually, I came straight to university after I did level 2 Cape, and I actually came to Trinidad, booked a ticket, was staying at my aunt's house before I even got my acceptance letter. So you could say I moved in faith. I actually got my acceptance letter 2 days before orientation. I know other people have stories where school would have already started and they got their acceptance letter. So I guess I was really lucky. But transitioning I was excited. I wouldn't say I got homesick or anything. I was excited to be on my own, excited to meet people from other countries, excited to embrace everything that UE had to offer. So I would say my transition was good.
All right, great. And what's your membership like now, and how can students join your organization or your association?
My membership right now we stand at about 35 students, and that's excluding the 10 members of the executive. It took a little dive, this year with in terms of COVID and everything. Usually we're a lot higher, but membership is going good. We still try to keep up with everybody and make sure everybody is doing okay. And yeah.
So for new students who are interested in finding out about your association and getting involved, what avenues can they take to get to more information?
Okay, so at the beginning of the academic year, we usually send out a link to register register if you're interested. You have to be Vincentian, of course, or at least have one parent that is Vincentian in order to qualify to be in our association. Or you can send us an email at vincer.ue.tt@gmail.com, or you can contact us on any of our social media pages. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and just let us know that you're interested. And yeah, we go from there.
All right, that sounds pretty good. What are some of the things that you've done for your association? What are some things that you're known for? What are some things that your members look forward to every year?
Some things that okay, so how we've adapted with COVID, right? In semester one, what we actually did, we took advantage of the 3 Vincer associations in Mona, Cave Hill, and St. Augustine. Since we were all at home, we did a collaboration for our Independence Week. St. Vincent's Independence is the 27th of October. So for that week, what we did was we had a series of events. Some of them were our individual events and some of them were collaborations. But one of the main ones that we did was the hot cocoa tea chat, which is where we went on Instagram Live and on Zoom. And we just talked about a lot of different things and we heard everybody's input and it was really fun. And we had a good time. Some other things that we're known for, we have our infamous roast pork line, which is something that we do every year. It's usually held on Sal Hall. This is actually my second year being in the executive. Last academic year, I was secretary. So when we were in Trinidad, I was part of planning that. And it's something that's looked forward to. Like, we're well known for it.
Tell us more about it.
We bring a bit of our culture to Trinidad. What it is, we have these grills, and it's just we roast chicken, we roast pork, and it's not served with any side dishes or any. I know Jamaicans have festival and whatever. No, you have your meat in your foil paper, and you stand up next to the grill, and you eat and you talk and you lime, and there's some games involved. So that's what we do. We're well known for that. And what else we do? We usually have several collaborations with other island associations where we would have taken trips to Harry's Water Park. Before we got sent home, we were actually planning to go to 5 Islands. We took a trip to the Mud Volcano. We went to South. We do a lot of things. Yeah, and recently last weekend we had another collaboration. We had a collaboration with LUSAT and GSA where we did a virtual games night. So that's a bit of our adapting to online.
I think that was a really, I haven't been there. I know that was a really fun event. I really enjoyed myself. Unfortunately my battery died, so I missed the last part of it. But I know it was a really enjoyable event. And one of the things though, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you all have been making your presence felt in terms of student representation. Not only at the Vincent level, but we would have, had the pleasure of having representatives from St. Vincent actually serve on the Guild of Students 2 years straight. We'd have had, my predecessor, Miss Vakisha John, and she would have, really done some great work or would have laid some great foundation. So we really have been feeling the whole St. Vincent being part of the Guild and really taking a step forward. And, also, continuing right on this year, we have our Guild PRO, Mr. Cavell Hazelwood, who is also, part of from St. Vincent. So I really want to say, we really see the work and the impact that you all have been making on campus. And I know that I also know Teron, he's a new start, and I know he's your vice president as well. I see that you all do a lot of good work. I saw the pictures where you all had that's where you all have everybody bring the different, when you all have the cook and salad, that's the same thing you're talking about, right? When you all, because I saw the pictures on Instagram.
Oh,
Just
I actually is talking about our tree competition. We
oh.
had, yeah, it
Mhm.
was our first ever doing that event. We have something called there's this really tiny fish called tree. I know in other countries it has different names, but you make like a fritter from it. So we had a little competition. We had three groups, and we did a little fry off. Yeah, it was something we were looking to make a second event. We were looking to make it an annual event, but things got a bit interrupted. But I think
So
that's
what
what.
is mhm. So what can we expect from Vincent for the rest of the academic year?
From Vinsa. Well,
Any collaborations, anything up in like to expect?
so far we're still in planning stages, but seeing how successful our games night was, we're actually considering, doing a second one, and
Please.
also, and also the anniversary of our volcanic eruption is coming up. It's April 13th. It last erupted in 1979, and recently, from this since December, it has been acting up a bit more. So we really want to shine some light on that on our anniversary coming up and do a little virtual event based around that. And usually every end of the academic year in April, we do a final dinner. And we were really looking forward to taking advantage of everybody being home here, inviting some alumni, which we wouldn't have been able to do if we were in Trinidad, and having a big dinner celebration. But unfortunately, our number of cases took a little, it raised a lot over since January. So that may have to somehow be adjusted. But we've learned to adapt. So if it has to be virtual, we'll make it virtual. But yeah.
And you all have been doing a very excellent job in terms of virtual. But as we see, in the very same breath, I know you was expecting this question. What has been some of the, we know that our Vincentians, I think most of them reside in Salhole, correct?
Yes.
So I know that you all would have, had to, deal with the sudden, pack up and leave, or to go back home. And how has that adjustment been to you all? And what are some of the issues or challenges that you all face? And how has those challenges, how has it been addressed, if at all?
Whew. Well, from my experience, I could only talk from my experience, It was quite sudden. It was sometime in March last year, and I know everybody expected that, oh, well, me at least, I expected, oh, we take a little week from home, or, if anything, a month, or at least we would get to come back in September. But, things didn't go like that. I actually stayed in Trinidad. I didn't come home until August 1st, around there. So I spent a lot of the lockdown in Trinidad. I chose to stay. I have an aunt down there. But most students, there was a flight that went up about a week after the lockdown, and a lot of the students went up there. But for the students that remained, I was president of INSA by that time, down in the summer, and a lot of students were still, not a lot, but around 15 or so, were still in Trinidad. So I actually arranged a flight with One Caribbean, and we filled the extra seats with any other Vincentians that were in Trinidad looking to go home. There was families, even with a young baby, and all of us, 30 of us, we took the flight home in August. So that I know that helped out a lot of the Vincentians that were stuck on hall still. And ever since then, it's just been constant adjustments. We have to adjust with being on online school. And for me, I know last semester was pretty rough because I'm in my final year. I'm doing civil engineering, and being able to balance being online, being president, doing, your final year projects and everything. It was really an adjustment that I had to get on. So.
And before we wrap this interview, my final question to you before Vernon, takes it over is, what does being Vincentian mean to you?
Being Vincentian. Well, for one, I would always say Vincentian people are hospitable people. We're neighborly, we're kind, we're always looking to help. I remember growing up, I always heard stories of, if you go to town and rain come, your neighbor don't mind, they go over, they pick up your clothes off your line for you. You're in town, even if rain coming and you're trying to park your vehicle, there's a guy would even offer, say, Miss, you want me to park your car for you? Stuff like that. We're very hospitable people. I think that's the main thing. I would also say we're easygoing people. We're very easy to get along with. And we make our presence known, especially on campus. Vincent, our Island Association, is known for being a people where anywhere you go, whether it's a party, whether it's a girl event or what's not, you have to know Vinci people did it, you have to know. And also, I would say that we drink the sunset, both figuratively and literally. We have the world's strongest rum, and you can't be a Vinci if you can't stand the sunset rum, So that to me has been Vincentian.
All right. So that's definitely inspiring. I look forward to when COVID goes away, or I guess we normalize things and are able to live, that I can go and visit your island. It's definitely on my bucket list. And I definitely want to be able to share that experience as well. I may even try the rum just to see if I can hang. But I do appreciate you coming and being on the show today. We know that it's exam period and it takes an extra bit of strength and I guess diligence to be able to come and be on the show and also keep up with your studies. So we appreciate you coming here today and continue to do the amazing work that you do despite all that's going on with COVID. They see that you're resilient, you're making things happen, and you're truly representing for your association. So thank you for coming, and we definitely look forward to great things in the future from you as well.
Thank you for having me, and I look forward to you visiting my beautiful island. Both of you.
Sounds
Definitely.
good. Before you leave, just give us your social media handle so we can know how to follow you.
Well, you can find me on Facebook by my name, Jessica Prescott, or you can also message me on Instagram. My handle is _ Jessica.p. And well, you can contact Vincent if anything by the Gmail, vincent.ue.tt@gmail.com.
All right. Well, there you have it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're down to this is it. This is the final. We've myself and Brennan, we're very grateful for having the opportunity to be with you. Actually, Vernon, initially the way how the story go is that Vernon actually was like brought on 1 week, and then the 1 week went into 2 weeks, and then it was supposed to be recurring, and then he just permanent. So guys, we are, of course, I'm Kendall Vincent, Gill Publications Committee Chairperson. We're inviting you to keep connected to the Gill social media platforms. A lot of things has been happening. We encourage you to engage in the whole democratic process of selecting your student leaders. We're not here to tell you who to vote for. This is not a campaign space or a platform, but stay tuned to the Guild social media platforms and you'll see all what is happening. Feel free to, make your voice be heard. And of course, connect with Guild at One Guild SDA. So I really want to thank you guys. This has definitely been a labor of love, on behalf of the entire Guild 2020, 2021. I want to say a special good night, a special heal out to our hardworking executive, that team that is made up of Thea, our secretary, Warren Anderson, our guild president, Mr. Kareem Charles, our vice president, and not just the executive per se, but also the entire councils. Our whole chairs have been working, trying to keep in connection with their cohorts. Our faculty reps, they have been doing their thing and they have been taking on a large gamut of the work. Our CCs, In terms of publications, though, what I can say though is that you can definitely look forward to our digital e-magazine, which will be coming out soon. We have our branding workshop, and we have quite a couple of things. What's happening in terms of JGI, Vinan?
Well, right now, JGI is preparing for our residents to come back. A lot of the clinical students are now returning, so we're in that transition phase of opening our arms and making sure that they feel safe and welcomed and that they're back at home. So that's our main focus right now, to make sure that our residents transition well and they're able to be able to effectively carry out their clinical aspects and complete their education. So right now,
I thought it was like you. I get excited. I thought it was like you coming back here.
I wish. I'm living through them right now because a lot of them are being able to be reunited. It's definitely a feeling of greatness to be on hall and see familiar faces, especially those you haven't seen in almost a year. Your new friends, your new family, and to be able to also complete their education, which was one of the purposes of them coming to UE. So I'm definitely there to support them and make sure that they feel safe in this COVID environment and that everything is in place. So we're keeping busy with that. And also my committee is up to something. I can't release it just yet, but I'm just going to let you know that we are going out with a bang. So if you thought you know JGI Hall before, look out, because we're definitely going to go down in history as one of the best hall committees. And that's on period. So look out for that.
Great, guys. So unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and we want to thank you for staying with us for the past 2 hours or so. This has been Campus Beats, a production of the Guild of Students Publications Committee 2021. And, we not just the Guild of Students Publications Committee, but we are very grateful for our host, and of course, Vinan, one of our permanent resident who's here, the entire team, guys, from all of us. Vinan?
Yeah, and before I end, I just want to say support your student leaders, support your student associations. It takes an extra bit of energy and oomph to be able to operate in a COVID environment on top of balancing personal life and schools and so forth. So with that, I'm going to wrap up and end with our final tune for today, which is going to be Backyard Jam. So take it away.
Bye, guys.